Good morning, my family, my beautiful people, people passing by. I hope everyone's doing okay. Hope everybody's had a good week, um, good month, good day, whatever. I want to give you a little update. Um, Seems like that's all I do here. My videos anymore is updates, but. So I get down to Texas. My aunt comes with me. She follows me down, and she's going to stay a couple of days to hang out with Dad and stuff, and her other brother. So we get within an hour of where my dad is. He's in San Antonio with his brother, and his brother's been kind of, making sure he don't get out and drive and stuff. Well, within an hour of me getting here, my dad gets out and leaves. So it's been a mess. So, anyways, I'm like, okay, well, Dad, he should be okay. He'll find his way home, and then that's where we'll meet up at. Well, Dad was gone 36 hours, and no one knew where he was at or nothing else. So, at that point, I'm having to file a missing persons report on him because he's 85. He's got the cancer, and I was getting worried. So I filed a missing persons report. And after I filed it, oh gosh, I can't even tell y'all what time. It was during the day. I can't even tell you what day I filed it. Everything's been so crazy. Anyways, I filed it, and within probably 10 hours, they located Daddy. Daddy was okay, but he was in the back of his pickup bed, asleep. And the officer that found him honestly thought he was dead. So they found him. They called us. Dad had over $3,000 in his wallet. Yeah. He was found in Fredericksburg, Texas. This is where I'm at now. This is where I stayed the night. He was found in Fredericksburg, Texas with over $3,000 in his pocket. And thank God he was okay. He was dehydrated, and so we got to him. I asked him if he knew where he was at, what he was doing, the standard stuff. He was very confused. But, he knew who I was. He knew who his sister was. And, he knew all that. But as far as the days and all that, he didn't know. So, at that point, I'm feeling my only hope is the hospital. Because y'all know how I've tried to get Dad to a hospital, to a doctor, and all that, and he just always refuses to go. Well, there was this little officer. I'm telling y'all, this guy was awesome. This was the best officer I have ever seen in my life. He, of course, for me and his sister, he refused. This little officer started talking to Dad, and they got a report together, and my dad did everything or anything this little guy asked. I mean, this guy was great. This officer even went above, because my dad hates cops. So this officer even went and covered his badge and told my dad, says, I'm not a police officer, I'm your friend. This guy was great. And I need to get him a card also. But anyways, we get Dad to the hospital. There's a lot more in between there, but I'm not going to get every little detail to y'all. But anyways, we get Dad to the hospital. And he's dehydrated and stuff. So at this point, they're their recommendation was put him in a nursing home. Because I had to do something temporarily while I was here. I had to do something. Because he wouldn't have listened to me. I would have been unable to got anything done on his property or anything, because Dad would have took off or whatever, because Dad's going to do what Dad wants. Well, another one of the reasons I was here, because Dad asked me to come down and help him sell his property. If that's what I wanted. He told, the property, I don't know if I told y'all previously or not, but the property he gave to me, or it was going to be in the will. And he talked to me about that, and he said in order to avoid probate and everything, he said, I'm just giving it to you now, and, do what you want. And Dad suggested that I sell it and buy more in Kentucky, because that's where my family is. I loved the property where Dad lived and stuff. Don't get me wrong, I love that place. It would have made a beautiful little homestead. But my kids and grandkids aren't here. So, anyways, that's how come I came to help him with that. So, anyways, at that point, I'm like, thinking to myself, I can't get everything done, and that Dad wants me to do, and Dad be running around and me having to file missing person reports on him every minute. So I said, okay, and I started asking about the Medicare and stuff like that, and that's all Daddy has was Medicare. And so they were telling me, the Medicare wouldn't cover I think it was the room and board. So the hospital thought he fell. The place on his head, they thought it was a fall. Well, they called in a hospice nurse. Why they called a hospice nurse and they thought he just fell, I'll never know. But anyways, they called the hospice nurse. She came in, and she goes, oh, he wouldn't qualify for hospice care because he's not a skill level. He's not a skill level. I'm sorry, my mouth is so dry this morning. So at that point, I'm thinking, it's not a skill level with this cancer on your head. Excuse me. I don't know why, but my mouth has been so dry since I've been up in this area. So anyways, I said he's got cancer on his head. And the cancer at this point is open, okay? It's a big open wound. Basically, you can see it going into his head. I really wasn't going to tell y'all nothing about this, but I may do a video on this at some point. It might help somebody. I don't know. I want to protect his privacy also, but I want to help others. So anyways, I tell the hospice nurse, I said, you mean with an open wound like that, cancer going into your head, then you're not a skill patient? She goes, oh, the hospital told me he fell. I said, no. I said, that's not from a fall. But anyways, they got that worked out, and they got him under skilled care, which covers everything except for the room and board. So at this point, he's under private care. And, he has the funds to take care for a few days. What I was doing was just trying to get him in there long enough to where he would have somebody watching him all the time until I can get him back to Kentucky. That was what I was trying to do. I just wanted, he needed to be somewhere controlled until I could get him to Kentucky. So few days later, he seen doctors and everything, seen everybody, and they declared him incompetent. Not, he's not legally, I didn't take him to court, file for no guardianship or nothing like that. But at this point, he is incompetent. And, any wouldn't know that. So, the hospice nurses come in and stuff. They're great. They are really great. And they tell me, at this point, your dad can no longer make decisions. You're going to have to make them for him. He's just, he can't do it. Which basically I knew that probably last time I came, but, I'm sorry about this phone, y'all, but I don't have no kind of holder or nothing with me. So basically I knew that last time I come, but, your parents, you don't want to disrespect them, and that's what you think you're doing when you're telling them, no, you cannot do this, But anyways, I got him in a nursing home. I didn't have time to look for a nursing home. I didn't have time to look at reviews on it. I didn't have time. I knew nothing about no nursing homes in this area. So the hospital says, well, we recommend one they recommended one that was just right across from the hospital. And I said, I agreed to that one. I said, okay. Let me tell y'all, if y'all ever have to put a parent in a nursing home, before you do it, you're going to think, oh my God, I cannot do this. And that's what I thought all this time. Dad is a very independent, very set in his ways. I just can't tell you enough how I was so scared. But honestly, Dad is adjusted pretty good. He's still bitches and stuff, but he's adjusted pretty good. So anyways, I try to explain to Daddy, it's only until I get done out of the property and I can get everything taken care of. I said, it's only till then, okay, Daddy? So he agreed. I still, even though he's not capable of making decisions, I still try to let him know what's going on. So anyways, I get him there and he adjusts in and stuff. Well, every day I would go up, he would go, when are we going, sis? When are we going? I'm ready to go to Kentucky. I mean, he's really wanting to go at this point, I guess, to get out of the nursing home, but he's really wanting to go. And each day I would have to say, well, Daddy, not today, but we'll go tomorrow. Y'all wouldn't believe all the stuff I had to do. But anyways, I kept telling him that over and over and over, and it was agitating him. So I talked to his nurse, and I said, do you think it's best if I just don't show face right now and wait till the day that I pick him up and say, hey, you ready to go, Daddy? And she says, honestly, probably yes. And I was keeping real good contact, and, I was calling the nursing home every 3 or 4 hours, and they were calling me, and his nurses were calling me, social workers calling me. So, I felt okay with that. And plus, it was getting me time to get things done. Well, yesterday, which was September the 20th, I get a call from his hospice nurse. And I can tell something's wrong. And she says, your dad's fell this morning. I said, oh my goodness. She goes, so as a precaution, we are going to send him to ER. So I said, okay, yes, please do. And with hospice, usually they don't go to that length. When they're under hospice care, you keep them comfortable and you kind of, let them go. But anyways, they took him to ER, and what had happened, he fell right on the tumor spot on his head, and they could not get the bleeding stopped. So anyways, they did another CAT scan. Now they did a previous CAT scan a week, two ago. However long I've been here, and first got him back to the hospital at the first time. The time that he become lost, they did a CAT scan that night too. So in comparison, the one that they did yesterday showed that the cancer had spread really aggressively and fast into the sinus area. So it's mainly hit his. The first one showed it, the cancer was a little bit was in his brain, going to his brain. This one has showed that it's all in his sinus area, and he's probably blind. I knew his left eye, he wasn't seeing out real good. But I didn't know his right eye. He was blind also. But anyways, so Daddy had that fall, and that's the reason I'm in Fredericksburg. I stayed the night in a hotel. This morning I go get him, and we're going to Kentucky. So it's been a uphill, downhill, swinging, crazy 2 weeks. There's been days I've cried all day long. There's been days I've giggled with my aunt and friends and stuff here, but mostly it's been all tears. Yesterday, the nurse told me he'd probably have 2 months. She goes, that's, the best she can guesstimate. She said, if that long. So y'all, please say a prayer for me. I'll be traveling with him, and, at any moment he can start hemorrhaging from the place on his head. He can start hemorrhaging, and I'm not sure what else can happen. The nurse is gonna tell me this morning what all can happen if this cancer hits, just the right spot there in his brain or artery or so-and-so. Anyways, she's given me 2 weeks comfort pack. It's not going to take me 2 weeks to get home, but she's given me 2 weeks comfort pack to get home and have the hospice set up in my home. I am keeping him in my home unless it becomes unmanageable, which they told me he can become aggressive. He can become violent. Not meaning to, but when that cancer hits, that cancer has already hit some of the brain. But if it hits a certain part of the brain, all these different things could happen. But I'm going to do the best I can with him, and hopefully, he'll live his last days peacefully. And all I'm going to do is give him lots and lots and lots of love, lots and lots of kisses, lots and lots of hugs, and we can make this journey a beautiful one. Y'all say a prayer for me and Dad. I love y'all all, and I think of y'all every day, and I want to say nothing edited. I'm not going to go in no details, but I am so, so sorry. Okay, I'm going to get this uploaded while I have internet service. I'm at a hotel, so I do have Wi-Fi now. I'll be leaving. I'll be getting on the road probably around 12-ish or 1. I'll try to give you updates on the road. I might even see if Daddy will do a little video. Well, I can't tell him I'm doing a video, but, I'll just see what he says. If, video like between us. All right, love y'all all, and I'll talk to you later.